Friends, this is Sanyukta again, and in the last session we already learned how to draw the Tangle pattern Tripoli, right? We learned the basics and the process of drawing the pattern Tripoli, and in this session we'll draw a tile using the same pattern and one or two more patterns maybe. And in front of me is a Zentangle or a round tile, and I'm going to start right away. So in the center I am going to draw the pattern Tripoli. I am just going to draw a kind of a dotted line just to mark a limit to till where will I draw my Tripoli, right? So I am going to start right away. Draw these three-sided triangular shapes. As I told you in the session, not necessarily of the same size and shape. What is important is that you aura the sides very closely, and that's what gives Tripoli its character, its main character, right? And then again aura closely, aura closely, right? So as I told you in the previous session, I have completed one flower, then again picking up one of the triangular shape, I have completed another flower, then again I'll pick up one more triangle and one side of the triangle, aura it very closely, and then again complete the process, right? So that's Tripoli. So again a triangular shape, again a close aura using any one of the sides, again close aura, use one side. If you wish, just extend it to the other end. So what is important here is not the size of the triangular shape or the three-sided shape. It is not supposed to be an equilateral triangle, right? As I told you earlier also. So I have completed each one more flower. This is one flower, this is one flower. That's the way I basically learned it when I was learning Tripoli. I tried completing each flower, but the main thing you got to remember is how you aura your triangles, right? So that's what gives Tripoli its main look. So just choose one side and then add a close aura to the line and then move on to the next, right? So I am kind of limiting my Tripoli by the dotted line that I have drawn. You can see here, right? I'm not bypassing that line. So all triangles are not of the same size and shape, you can see by now, right? So basically what is important is you have to draw a close aura in each, right? So that's Tripoli. So let us give it a border. I'm going to give it a kind of a thick border with my 08. So kind of confiding it within a circle, and few more left here and there, right? And then it is up to you again, as I mentioned in the previous session, treating Tripoli as a fragment. Treating the Tripoli as a reticula or a grid, and then using a fragment to fill it in, right? So I will be using this fragment and filling up all my Tripolis using this pattern, right? Basically a pattern inside a grid, which is, this case is Tripoli being used as a fragment, as a reticula, and something like a crescent moon inspired pattern inside called a fragment, right? So I'm going to be filling up all my Tripolis with this fragment. You can see here I have almost finished filling up the three-sided shapes, the triangular shapes, with the fragment that I chose. Right? So can you see we have created a pattern within a pattern using Tripoli as a reticula and this crescent moon inspired pattern as a fragment. This kind of a pattern created by combining two patterns, one or two patterns together, is called a meta pattern. Yes, we have created a meta pattern, a pattern within a pattern, just by using two patterns together, right? You must have seen something like this when we did the session on bales also, right? So now that we have worked on our Tripoli, so now let's just use the rest of the tile the way we wish to. Choose a pattern of your liking and then just start with it. I'm drawing some flower like shapes here, right? If you want, you can just draw box like shapes. No need for curved shapes. If you're not comfortable with it, just draw square like shapes. It's not necessary. So I'm drawing these flower kind of shapes all around the circle that I have drawn. Right? So now that we have drawn it, I'm going to fill it up with, just give one more border inside or an aura, right? And then I'll try and fill it up with muka sprouts. I try and cover as much space as possible with the muka sprouts on both the sides, right? So if you have to draw behind, it's okay. Again, go slow, take your time, like that, right? And probably yes. So I'm going to be doing this exercise. This space that is left, I'm going to fill it up right? Going to fill up these small spaces left in between, ink it, and probably here some doodles or Bronx cheers, whatever you are comfortable with, right? So again I'll do the same exercise, add an aura inside, right? And then some mocha sprouts, three or four, as many as you want. Right? And then again the same exercise. You can see here I have done that exercise with almost all the petal shapes and I am on the last two now. So going to repeat the same exercise, adding an inner aura to my petal shape, and then some mocha sprouts on both the sides, right? And then I'm going to fill up this space that is left inside with some Bronx cheers or tipples, whatever you may call. Since I'm highlighting the tipples, it's looking more like Bronx cheers. So filling in this part with Bronx cheers and then filling up the gap between the sprouts, inking the gap, right, on both the sides. So this is the exercise that I'll be doing on the last one also. Adding my mocha sprouts. Right, filling in the small spaces that are left with Bronx cheer or tipple, as you may call, and then the small space that is left behind between the mocha sprouts, just ink it in. On both the sides. Right, so all my petals are done. Just adding some orbs or tipple kind of shapes to fill in this place, the space between the petals. You can call it orbs, you can call it tipple, right? So just filling in this space. with some orb kind of shapes. Right. I'm just manipulating the shape of my tipple as per the space available, right? Nothing else. And the last one. So we have filled up all the spaces, and then an aura with my boulder pen. Just go slow. Just repeating the outer aura. Right? With the rest of the space, I would like to ink it. You can again repeat the aura, right? So we'll see that later, how we want to go about it. Let's start shading the tile first. So I'm going to be adding a thick, again, graphite in the inside. Of this circle. Right. I'm sorry. So you can see I have added thick graphite inside. Yes, now I'm going to smudge it in. So with my stump, just going to pull the graphite towards the center. You can also choose to shade your Tripoli independently, right? So if you want to shade each of the triangles of the Tripoli, please go ahead. You can shade it that way also. I feel like shading the tangle as a whole here and give the pillow effect. So I am darkening the corners so that my center kind of pops up, right? So that is how I am going to be shading my Tripoli. And then your mocha sprouts. You know how to shade your mocha sprouts. We have already learned that. I'll just highlight the pods, right? And in this section, on the two corners, leave the center and highlight the two corners. Something like this, right? Yes. So I'm going to be shading all the mocha sprouts and the two corners, the center, and we have already added some graphite here, so just smudging. Right, so we'll do the same exercise for all. See here, I have shaded all the muka sprouts in the same manner, and these sections also in the same manner as I showed you, right? And now some white charcoal at the center to highlight. Right, just take off the excess chalk with the help of your stump, and then some highlight on these. Right, and some touch of highlight on your bronze chairs here and there. Right, not much, just a touch. And your tile is ready. That's Tripoli with muka sprouts, right? This leftover portion, you can do whatever you want, and we'll meet again next time with a new tangle, a Zentangle original. Till then, have a good time, right? I forgot to initial my tile. Let's do that. So, goodbye and see you again.